Kalimera, kalispera, kalinichta, no matter where in this wonderful and weird world you might be. Thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. It's a new week, blank canvas. Let's discuss, let's dissect. The squad is back, and the Arsenal go back to winning ways too. Rock and roll.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
As it has been too long, my friends. Welcome back to Squad Central. Joining me once again for another round of Monday Madness. Tonight, it's just the two of us. Mr. Super Kev, Super Kevin Campbell.
Squaddies, good to see you. Good to be back. At ease, let's get busy. At ease.
Indeed, Kev. Let's get busy. Thanks to everyone for joining us this fine evening. We got Double F in the house. High Squad Familia. We like that a lot. Rick is in the house. We got Lynn in the house. We have Ian. We have Turin. We have Wesberg. We have Matty K. Suraj is here. Guna Works is here. Demsek is here. Trev is here. Amira. Everyone's here. Super Kev. Lone Star is here. Carol is back. We got Raid in the house. We got Brady's Banana. And of course, Mark B. And our Chief Like Officer, Tammy Steele's in the house. Good evening to everyone and those who I've missed. I apologize. Kev, before anyone says anything to me, this is my nephew's rugby team hat, St. Albans, the Oddballs, Kev. Just so happens they're blue and white, which is a bit of a problem.
No, it's not. It's not a problem at all.
No? Okay.
No.
All right.
St. Albans, it's all right.
St. Albans, it's all right.
It's all right. Don't worry about that.
Okay, stay till the end of the show. Kev and I, and Kev is generously going to stay a little bit longer tonight so we can do some questions as well as I know.
Depends on the likes, Sophie.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Let's get it right.
Okay,
if the
sorry.
likes are up,
you tell him, Kev.
I'll stay. If the likes are crap.
Okay, so that's the rule. If the likes are crap, Kev leaves. If they're good, you get Q&As at the end, just like on Fridays, okay? And we've missed those terribly. Right. The last time we spoke, Kev, was before the Manchester City game.
Yes, it was.
Online,
yeah.
Online, yeah. Online, live on the show, with everyone. So the last game was City. It was a bit disappointing. I know everyone heard what you had to say on the telly and on the radio, but the Squaddy Nation, some who don't get to see you on the telly, on the radio in England or in some parts of Asia. Great first half, disappointing second half. I don't want to dwell on that too much, but I was wondering if you could evolve one game going into the weekend, Super Kev.
For me, the City game was just a catalogue of errors from us, which errors that we don't usually make. So let's be honest, Sophie. Against maybe lesser teams, you might get away with one or two. Against the best in the business, you're not going to get away with that. You're not. So, hey, it was a tough lesson for us. Really tough lesson for us. But you know what? I saw enough in that game to say this could have been really different because they looked nervous, especially first half. They looked really nervous as well. You know, we came back, we had a good go at them, but they've got little bits of extra quality that when you give the ball away in crazy areas, they can punish you. And they punished us. Hey, and you take it. But if I'm honest, the better team won on the night. We made mistakes, but we're better than that, Soph. And we can't keep saying it, I know, but we are better than that. And obviously that was another loss. Mm-hmm. So there was a little bit of panic mode, weren't there? We weren't top anymore. So the key was, how is this Arsenal team going to respond? That was the big question. You know, we weren't top. Had a game in hand. Manchester City flex their muscles. We're the champs, which you expect. How were we going to react? And then we come on to the Villa game, which, as you well know, Unai Emery tends to get the better of us. He set them up very well. I thought he set them up well to try and counter-attack us. And, you know, such is life that we end up going a goal down. Well, we're going to cover all that, aren't we? We're going to cover all this.
Definitely going to cover all that. There's a couple of questions I wanted to ask you from City into this. Hindsight 2020, right? Football manager Soph here. You and I have been lauding Benjamin White all season, Kev. We've actually been saying he's the unsung hero at the back. And, you know, when Gabriel and Saliba have both gone through their peaks and troughs, it felt like Benjamin was the most reliable, dipped a little bit, you know, in a couple of games. Looking back on that City game and seeing how he played against Villa, was that a mistake?
No.
To start Tomiyasu?
No, it wasn't. Because, again, we're talking in hindsight now. Tomiyasu being touch tight to Grealish would usually help us. Let's be honest, it would usually help us. We tend to, even when Ben White's having a decent game, we tend to sometimes take him off to bring Tomiyasu on, i.e. Rashford, to get Tomiyasu there, who likes to mark tight and be a lot more physical sometimes with the winger. And especially if he hasn't been booked, he could get physical with him. So fine. So I think it was he made the right decision. We just didn't play well enough. We made mistakes. And that's it.
Okay. Yeah, and the mistakes were grave. Huge, terrible mistakes. I just wonder, Kev, when you've always said to me, even when Aubameyang was kind of on his knees and not scoring, you always said to me, Soph, if everyone's fit, you play your best players. And in the game against the best team, arguably, in Europe, who hasn't won the Champions League in the last 5-6 years, he didn't play one of our best players all season against maybe the toughest team we're going to face at home, and played, not as hot Tomiyasu.
But you got to ask yourself why. It was specifically to deal with Grealish.
But we've seen Benjamin White deal with United and Tottenham, and we've seen him deal with...
You're going beyond what I'm saying. I'm saying Tomiyasu was picked to specifically deal with Grealish, i.e. earlier on in the season where he played Tomiyasu at left back. Do you remember? Everybody was up in arms. Why is he playing him left back? Da, da, da. But he played him there for a reason, because Tomiyasu seems quite comfortable actually moving into midfield as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he plays him in specific moments. The majority, Ben White will play or whatever, but specific games, Tomiyasu tends to play. So, and he hasn't got it wrong before, really. So, again, we can nitpick all we want. He should have done this, he should have done that. We just made too many mistakes on the night. So,
right. You know, our plan B thing has kept going, right? Our debate, the last Monday Madness on plan B versus no plan B versus like-for-like changes.
Yes. And I'm going to get you all with this now. Beautiful, Sophie.
Are we doing that right now, or are we going to get...
No, we're going to get in the Villa game. I'm going to get everyone with this so-called plan B.
Okie dokie. I hope Tom Canton's also listening, because I know he was... I was listening to him last week, and he was talking about exactly what I was saying. And apparently, according to not Taib, but someone else, the Arsenal Vision podcast guys were also talking about what I was saying regarding a plan B and too much like for likey. So we'll get into that a little bit later. Right, Kev, let's get stuck into the game itself. We'll wave Manchester City goodbye. And the Highbury squad here will now start looking at the highlights from the big match at Villa Park. And Kev, you started off right. Record against Emery, not so great. You never want to lose against the man you replace. You lost to him in humiliating fashion in a semi-final of a European potential cup final. And here we were under the cosh, under all the stress and the pressure in the world. I know you did the rounds too, and I was saying to Natalie and Tony on breakfast, they said, you sound a little bit subdued. Is that because of the Arsenal? This was before the game. And I said, well, I'm a little concerned. And I think we had every right to be concerned.
Yeah, rightly so.
After Everton and Brentford and then Manchester City, things were a little shaky. And they started off shaky, Kev. First, I want to start with the lineup. Were you happy with Mikel and how he set out the team? A lot of fans were actually asking for Zinchenko to maybe be given a rest, play Tierney. I think everyone wanted Benjamin White back. Some were even talking about playing Martinelli down the middle, not Eddie. How do you feel about the starting 11, Kev? What did you think?
Starting 11 was fine. The starting 11 was fine. Again, you know what? So everybody has their nuances. He should play this one should be dropped, etc. But I keep saying it. The players that are picked, all of the players that are picked have, at one stage or other, gone on the pitch and performed. They have. So the fact of the matter is, you pick a team to win a specific game. You watch the opposition, you see who's available to you, and you game plan that team. And that's what we've done. We game planned the opposition. But the opposition, don't forget, are game planning you as well.
Mm-hmm.
It works both ways. That's how you try and get a leg up on certain teams. And let's be honest, in the first half, Aston Villa done really well because they let us attack and they were breaking a bit like what Everton done. They were breaking it down and then trying to spring and attack us. Ollie Watkins scored a good goal. Saliba's got to be a lot tighter, especially somebody who's traveling in the box. He's got to get a lot tighter there. Their second goal was a good goal, but if you notice the ball, when the guy overs it, it goes through Granit Xhaka's legs. So realistically, you think to yourself, if he overs it, I should be just controlling that and getting out. But they played pretty well. I thought we done okay. Great goal by Saka. But something just weren't right with us, Soph, in the first half. It weren't right. We weren't at our dominant self. This guy was unbelievable.
Oh my God, Kev.
He took some kicks and some buffeting. Second season in a row there, Sophie. Second season in a row. Do you remember Ashley Young last season and all that was going on? He took some battering and people were coming out. Remember Sophie Nicolaou and all that? Remember we had that battle with him?
Yep.
This boy was unbelievable.
Saying he was moaning and he needed to earn it and just get on with playing football, bringing attention to himself. Yes, I remember that from Sophie Nicolaou.
And all that kind of thing. Well, do you know what? He toughened up. And I love to see him when he got kicked again and he pushed Coutinho. Yes. Don't accept it.
Do you think he had Thierry Henry's words in his mind where he said last week, Kev, and I know you've said you want our team to get a little bit nastier. Thierry was saying he just, if you want to be ruthless
and be the top guy,
you got to be a little bit nasty.
Yeah, you can't. Well, not nasty, but you can't be nice. Thank you, Siraj. It's the players. It's always the players. But Sophie, there was a battle in quality in them, that they were in the game. And fair enough, we went in at halftime 2-1. But I like that energy that they had to scrap.
So Kev, I've got all the talking points down. I know it's usually 5 on a Monday. I actually have 10 and more than that. But I wanted to start at the very beginning because what I enjoyed watching this game, right? As much as it was squeaky bum time the whole time, because once we went 1-0 down, everyone's fear set in. We get back to 1-1. You think, right, we're going to smash them now, 4-1 or something. And then we go down again. And, you're showing this adversity. But what I think what I found really interesting about this game and why I enjoyed it more is it wasn't an entirely, and you can tell me if I'm talking out my bottom, but as as defensive as Aston Villa were at times, it didn't feel like we were facing the Everton, the Newcastle, and the way Brentford played against us. They were a bit more, I say
Adventurous.
expansive loosely, but they were adventurous.
They're a bit more adventurous. Why, Sophie? Because they've got players who can absolutely spring from defence to attack. If you see the Leon Bailey break and the other lad who had a
Mhm.
shot, it's because they're quick and they could spring wide, pick the ball up, and then travel. So
Mhm.
any team like that, you are going to get caught sometimes because you can't just dominate a team 100%. And that's what made it really exciting because we were pushing and pushing and pushing. But there was always that thing in your head where we got to be careful here because they've got the ability to be able to spring and catch us. So we were playing a dicey game. So, but if you want to win it, that's the type of game you have to play.
Yeah, see, to me, I felt like, and I agree, yeah, Leon Bailey caused all sorts of problems. Bit prickly, tough player to defend against, loves to go back in, doesn't he? Back in, Kev, as well, but has that pace. And I just thought that they were intriguing and I never felt comfortable, but yet I was comfortable watching the game, if that makes sense. Um,
We were in
so
control, weren't we?
I like the fact that there was this double test for us because there were times where they really, I thought, set up quite well and were disciplined, Kev, but then there were times where they completely lost their discipline, of course, and that was us on the counter. But I like the fact that we had to face a couple of different facets in a game against a team that has done really well since Emery's taken over. There was a lot for us to contend with in this match. There were lots of good duels in this game, I felt. And it was never easy at any given time or moment. Let's get on to the Jorginho factor here a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And I want to read this out to you. I just want to read these stats, actually, the game stats, which is why I think it sounds easier than it was. They had 7 shots, we had 20. We both had 5 on target. So we got 4 of those, which is really impressive in terms of our ratio of return. 67% possession for us. You can do the maths for the rest. We had 571 passes, Kev. They had 293. 13 fouls. I think 12 of those were on Saka. 4 for us, 2 yellow cards. We had 9 corners and they had 2. I have a question for you about the corners later. I want to get to Jorginho, Kev. You're a player. Talk me through this. Your best player in your team, one of, goes down. You're in the dressing room. You've been the captain. You've not been the captain. You've been the younger player, the older player. A player like Jorginho comes in. There's so much noise going on around him. I'm sure he's stoked that he's out of that Chelsea mess. How impressed have you been so far with Jorginho?
I've been very impressed with him, to be honest. I don't think we've missed we've missed some of the athleticism in a sense of Thomas Partey because when Thomas Partey picks it up, he can drive and break the line, which is different to what Jorginho can do. But Jorginho, his using of the ball is incredible, really is. And I don't. When Thomas Partey went down previous, Soph, we didn't look the same team in the midfield. We didn't. Here we are. This is the first time we've gone behind, etc., like this and won the game for a long time. And that stems from that hub in midfield. He really is a superb passer of the ball. We know that Villa can catch us on the break, but within our play, Sophie, we dominated the game. We dominated possession. Look at we're probably going to get to this. So I don't want to speak too much about it. But look at the chances we missed.
Yeah, we missed a lot.
We missed a lot. The game should have been wrapped up, Soph, by 80 minutes. Over. 4-2. Over. But we didn't take our chances. But I thought Jorginho was awesome. We didn't miss Thomas Partey in a sense because we done it a different way. That's all. Jorginho doesn't do it the same way. He does it a different way. And it just goes to show we didn't skip a beat, Soph. And
No.
so I didn't know he could shoot like that either. Mikel Arteta said that. I didn't know. I mean, we were texting when whoa, what a shot. But I didn't expect that from him. Usually he just sits in midfield. But in this team, he's got different instruction. Go and join in.
Mm-hmm.
Go and join in. And I'm so pleased he did so. Man of the match for me.
I thought he was fantastic and such a cool, calm head in a game where this is where Arsenal's young team needs a little bit more of that experience. Now, whether he's coming off the bench or starting a few games in Thomas Partey's absence, Kev, he just adds something. I left Barry's comment up because it's kind of what you said. Jorginho speeds our attack rather than carrying the ball. He passes it down the field quickly between the lines, which I think Martin Odegaard is having an orgasm every single time Jorginho gets on the ball, Kev, because he's getting the ball quickly. Hold on.
He weren't in the first half, was he?
No, nobody was.
No, you see, but you see, Sophie, this is the difference. Because we have to adjust in game and do things a little bit differently. It's a bit of understanding. All of a sudden, Martin Odegaard started getting a grip of the game. Why? Because he found himself in a little bit more space. And as Jorginho gets the ball, he's another lender of the ball, isn't he? He gets it and zips it into you. You go and do it. Get it back. Give it. So he tries to make everybody better, just like Thomas Partey. But Jorginho does it in a different way. Odegaard came into his own, I thought, in the second half. And looked the part. Really looked the part. But Jorginho was the man.
Yeah, I thought so too, Kev. One of the things I also liked seeing is that you can see already from the goal and the goal celebrations that,
Could you put that comment back up? The last one about Jorginho's shot.
Let me see if I can. It's going to move so quickly, mate. What did it say?
Jorginho's shot doesn't count or something. I just wanted to see who it was by.
Jorginho is a very good. Oh, fluid flows doesn't count as being on target either.
Fluid flows. It does. It counts to us.
I don't care.
To us. We don't care what people want to say. It counts to us.
Yeah, counted to him as well.
Him as well, I tell you.
Gloriously waiting to just put this up. Oh gosh, that was just such
sweet, wasn't it? It was sweet.
Oh, it was so sweet, Kev. What a time waster. That's the second team we've faced, third team this season, where in the first half they're absolutely wasting time. Ridiculous.
Wasted time. The time waster. Have some of that. There you go.
It's so good. Hope you guys enjoy that. Soak it up while you can. Beautiful stuff. Kev, okay, so I have another question for you regarding this. Let's get him off the screen. There you go. Get Super Kev back. And let's get our Zenith coin friends back up here as well. Don't forget, go visit Zenith Coins, zenithcoins.com. Get 20% off your Arsenal coin. We're giving away a couple at the end of the show tonight. What do you do, Kev? Because Jacques has gone off the boil a little bit. You're looking ahead to these. Now, I know, seems like every single time someone plays well, we want them to start. Same thing with Trossard. How well that worked out, we'll get to him. But sticking with the Jorginho conversation for just a minute, Thomas Partey, doesn't need to be rushed back now. Arteta's saying it's another week. When he does come back, I know you like players to earn their spots back in the team. There's certain players that just come back into the team because of who they are. Does Xhaka get rested? Is there a potential Jorginho? Xhaka has been playing that box-to-box role. Jorginho really is not that. What do you think, Kev?
I think Xhaka starts. I think if we have to adjust it, then we could always bring Vieira on. I think Vieira now, we're starting to understand a little bit more the Premier League. And you see, he knows exactly what to do. He's a really forward-thinking player. He's not as physically imposing or smart, in that physical way yet. quality on the ball, he's got it. And he sees things so early. So I just think, Premier League, it's a war first. You play Xhaka, you get Xhaka. Xhaka would always put himself about. But listen, you could be concerned about Xhaka's form. He's not always going to be able to play the way he has all season. So what you've got to be able to do is be able to pivot. And hence why we're getting closer to the plan Bs. The plan Bs, the key part is there has to be a trust in who comes off the bench to play your game and impose yourself. There has to be. The fact of the matter is, you could play the same system, but you have different players in those positions. That is the plan B. And that's what I've been trying to tell people, but people don't want to hear it. Martinelli came on, made a difference. Didn't look like the Martinelli that was struggling. He looked lively, he looked hungry. He was a threat. He's the one who supplied. He got an assist for Jorginho's goal, per se, and obviously scored the fourth. That's a difference maker. That's the plan B. When you bring people on, for it to work, people have to play to their potential. And sometimes it's not always going to happen, so unfortunately, from that same system.
Right, same system.
Yeah,
so it's the same system with plan A, AA versus a plan B. Plan B could be...
The reason I mentioned that, Sophie, is because Trossard's ability is different to Martinelli's. So Trossard, I thought Trossard had a decent game, but he's not one who could really stretch a team. He's good on the ball. He's neat. He keeps the ball well. He's a good player, but he's not someone who you're gonna think, right, he's gonna outrun me. When you bring Martinelli on now, all of a sudden that's a different dilemma for the defense. Now they've got somebody to deal with who can run in behind, who could pick the ball up, who could dribble past people with speed. From the same system, you ask different questions.
Right. We saw less isolation for Martinelli this time because, of course, he's on for a more compacted period of time in a game. So that was far more effective in a short space of time. We've seen it not work in, say, the last 3 games where he's felt a little bit isolated. Kevin hasn't had as much of that support. And totally hear you in terms of what I said on TalkSport was I felt actually Martinelli was being unfairly targeted because I felt the way that Arteta wants Zinchenko to play. Martinelli doesn't have that traditional left back behind him. And without Jesus hustling and winning the ball and pressing from front to back, then there's a lot that he loses from his game. But it was really great to see him come on and have that moment. I felt for him, especially the way, he celebrated that goal, Kev. Again, proving that, players are willing to play their role. They're buying into what Mikel is selling. But this moment, moments like this, I just love as well that Agbon Lahore got so salty about this moment. It was just glorious. So much fun to see our players having fun. And you can't celebrate an open goal even before you score. It felt like ice hockey, empty net. This is Gunnar Ball's version of Martinelli's goal celebration. Oh, yes, we have another Jesus, and he is Brazilian as well. Kev, how much did you love that? You don't have an argument with it, do you?
Argument for us celebrating goal? He must be crazy. Always remember, I keep saying it on there, they're all going to come for us. They don't like the fact, and Agbon Lahore is Villa. It is Villa who's getting tonked, so he's not going to like it. Hey, listen, there ain't many times in football, Sophie, where a player picks you out like that and you're clean through and you could do that. There ain't many times. So he took the opportunity to do that. We've seen him run away from players and have to finish. But this one, Emi Martinez was up the pitch. So we could run and celebrate and put it in and put us into glory 4-2. And do you know what? That really helped him as well, I think.
I think so. I do
Being able
too.
to get on the score sheet, it's good for his confidence. And yeah, he hasn't been himself starting because you know what? Teams bank up on him. Teams will bank up on him and not let him build up a head of steam. But coming on with 20 minutes or so to go, he's fresh and they're tired. He's a problem. So I love it. I absolutely love it.
We said when we signed Trossard, Kev and I, when we were talking, we said, imagine you've defended for how long? And then with 20 minutes to go, you've got to face Martinelli, who's totally different beast. And that's what
And
we
you're
haven't
flagging.
had.
Yeah.
That's what we haven't had. And also, I hope everyone can appreciate the celebrations, and where I was rounding off with Jorginho because we got into Martinelli because of passion, etc., is the joy and the happiness. One of the things that I tweeted was that video that went viral of us scoring and going over to the away fans, and this moment and seeing the players react to Jorginho with each other, the joy of celebrating with
That's one of my
you.
favorites.
I love this picture. I love it. And then with the cameraman also, he's kind of looking directly at the lens. And all 400 of you in live chat this Monday evening, I'm sure you enjoyed it as much as Kev and I did. This was just a really, look, I don't want to go overboard, Kev, and talk about cult moments, but that was, or iconic, but that moment had so many layers. There's so many sauces in this dish, I don't mind. You've got the fact that Jorginho scored for us on the day Chelsea got smashed, not smashed, but humiliated by Southampton, who've been the most garbage team in the Premier League this season, other than your team, Everton and Leeds, right? You also have the fact that he scored, but it ended up being an own goal because Arsenal's ex-goalkeeper, who doesn't shut up his mouth about the club and just keeps bitching and whining and moaning. It's like we live in his head and under his skin and crawl in his toes, got humiliated and embarrassed on the day. It was just glorious. Then you have the celebration, right? Even Vesper agrees with me, where everyone runs over together and they're just going for it. I mean, do you miss those moments as an ex-player, Kev?
Well, I got them. I got them. I see. I get to enjoy it and see it. I know what it feels like. I know what it takes. I know the feeling, the connection with the fan base when you win like that is amazing. So again, I thought this was a very special win for us, considering what had gone on in the last 3 league games. Really important. I think Jorginho announced himself to the Arsenal fans properly on Saturday in what could have been a very difficult game. I thought he introduced himself to his teammates as well, because I think his teammates were so delighted for him. And that just goes to show the dressing room is a real good place, a really good place, that everybody's welcomed, everybody feels part of it. Some really good people in there. And Arsenal bounced back when they needed to. They really needed this because, again, Soph, we play first. So, you know, sometimes putting a bit of pressure on the opposition can make a difference.
Listen, the narrative, if we'd have lost this game, it would have been hellacious. If you guys thought it was bad after Manchester City and Everton, it would have been a complete, you know how I have my levels in football. There's a meltdown, breakdown and rock bottom. And that would have been a rock bottom moment in terms of losses. Even a draw, I think, would have felt like a loss to us, because the bounce back ability factor, which is actually point number 1 on my 10, we're 34 minutes in, was really important. This game, I think beating Tottenham at Tottenham was huge. That was a massive result. That turned the tide on the narrative, how people were talking about Arsenal, right? Going into City, that beating them, Kev, which is why I was so upset about losing that game, of course, as a fan, is changing the narrative. There's another duck we've broken this season. But winning this game was so important. I would say probably the most important game we've won so far this season. Am I exaggerating?
No, because they're all going to be the most from here on in. Most important. They're all going to be the most important, Sophie. They're all going to be the most important. That's for
okay.
Sure.
All right. So we've talked about bounce back ability. We've talked about Jorginho. Aren't you happy that he's playing instead of Sambi Lokonga or El Neni? No disrespect to those two, but I personally am delighted what he's bringing to the table so far. We asked Kev about regrets not playing Benny Blanco versus City, as he wanted to cover that at the top of the show. Martinelli, we've discussed, and his return in hunger. Right. I wanted to get stuck back into Vieira with you, Kev. All right. You mentioned him loosely. And there's something marinating here. It feels like over the last few games, something's marinating with Vieira. We're starting to see more trust. Maybe even those subs happening a little bit sooner than we did in the previous game, Kev, where we were having a bit of a moan about it. Talk to me about Vieira and what you're seeing, because the last couple games when he's come on, he seems to me to just, especially this one, he handled. Someone mentioned it in the chat too as well, like Leon Bailey. I thought he did really well in every single area of the pitch. What did you see?
It's a player who's starting to understand a little bit more about what the Premier League's about. You know, to do it for 90 minutes, I think will be very difficult for him because of the physical nature. So fair enough, you could get Granit Xhaka to do a lot of the hard yards, but let's be honest. Second half, we were dominant, and when you're dominant and the team are banked in there, you need players who can pick a pass. You need players who have that little bit more craft in their game. And no disrespect to Granit Xhaka, that's the only thing where maybe at times he falls down because he doesn't have the quick feet, etc. You know, or that quick thinking to just get it and release it. Whereas he's a bit more measured. He'll take a touch, i.e. the ball for Jesus against Brentford. He took a touch and he could pick a cross out, can't he? Mm-hmm. Whereas sometimes when you're in and around the box, you got to do things quick because players are in a closer proximity. Vieira is that player. That's why he's been brought in. Like I say, this season probably is just the feeling out phase for him because the way David Silva was for City, he is that type. He's got that type of brain. I mean, you just look at the way he took the ball to the left. Martinelli checked his run and the ball just perfectly weighted for Martinelli. He's done the same for Eddie against Oxford in the Cup. Perfect passing. So he knows what he's doing. The key is he needs a little bit more time, needs a little bit of space in order to do that. And that's why bringing him off the bench second half helps because it's not so demanding. I think it would be a lot more difficult for him if it was across 90 minutes right now.
Yeah, but I think perfect then, Kev, for this season. I think, you know, in a European game where things can slow down a little bit, he'll be perfect to come on as a sub.
I think we're gonna see these guys start games. So in the Europa, I think that's going to be really important. But if we've got designs on winning it, I don't think we tinker too much with the squad.
No, but I mean, the good thing about what you're saying is that he might not be ready to play every single game, and we don't want him to be that yet, but to have him improve and reach this kind of flow when he's asked to come on with how many games left in the Premier League for the rest of the season and Europa League coming back, I think that is a really, really good thing. So I definitely wanted to talk to you about him because the other thing too, Kev, his body language was totally different in this match? Timing, right? Comfortability, new league, new language, new people, new everything. But what I'm really enjoying is seeing this air of comfortability, the slotting in. And I think that's because the brick walls around Arsenal are different. The culture, the infrastructure, right? There's none of this institutionalized nonsense anymore. Gabriel Jesus comes in, bang, hits the ground running. Zinchenko hits the ground running. Saliba came back, hit the ground running. You got Tomiyasu, the same. Ramsdale, the same. Now we're seeing it with Fabio Vieira, much, thank God, more so than Lokonga and Nuno, who kind of struggled when they were given these opportunities. And I think you're seeing that in the team and the celebrations, the unity and this comfortability that players feel when they come into the squad, Kev.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's getting used to it. That's the difference. He came in and he was a wisp of a player, wasn't he? Still is a wisp of a player, but he's starting to understand the culture, starting to understand what's required of him. He's played in certain games. He's training. He's probably on a strengthening program as well. Probably feels a little bit better in himself, strength-wise, out there on the pitch. So this isn't something that's just going to happen overnight. But, all of these guys we're going to need moving forward over the next 3 or 4 months.
Okay, great stuff from Kev on Fabio Vieira. All right, we got a few more before you guys. I'll start getting your questions in. I've got to start them.
How many likes? Never mind questions.
That's
how many
true.
likes?
That's true. See, this is why I always like to just do things, but Kev makes me make sure that we do them with rules in place. Chief Like Officer Tammy Stills, please reveal the number of the current like count, and we shall see if we're going to stay beyond the hour for Kev to answer your questions. Remember, this is up to you. Giving out coins tonight and questions is all down to you. So let's see how you're doing. We are not enough likes. Oh, let's see, 194. And there's 470 in the house. We're at 208 now.
That's poor, man. Come on, squaddies.
Pushing you like
rubbish.
Arteta.
That's rubbish.
Do you think that's what Arteta says when Eddie comes off the pitch? Come on, Eddie. That's rubbish. That's poor, man. You could do better than that.
Well, do you know what? A lot of people are having a go at Eddie. Jesus weren't exactly prolific.
Oh, come on, Kev. Come on now. We had this conversation.
Oh, hold on. Jesus weren't prolific, but we were winning games. Cut it out. Do you know what? He gave Odegaard an open goal virtually, but he stuck it wide.
What about his missed chances, Kev?
No, I'm just saying that. You're going to miss chances. He's a striker. But are you contributing? Yes, you are.
Do you think he's contributing as well as he has been since United?
He's been contributing. He hasn't scored, but he's been contributing. Yes, he's been contributing. 100%. 100%. He is.
I don't think he's contributing the same way he was, because there were games where he was playing where we're like, wow, he's playing like Jesus. I don't think he played like Jesus against Everton, Brentford. But we said that he played like him. It's like we didn't miss him.
It don't matter what we said. He's not Jesus. So if he plays like that in some games and he doesn't play like that in others, it's Eddie and Kev.
He's missed some major league chances, Kev, in the last few games. And we've lost and drawn. We've lost 2 and we've drawn 1. But we never lost 2 games with Jesus in the team.
Yeah, but that was then. This is now.
Okay, so I've got to pull you up on this a little bit, because I get that you want to defend the Arsenal players. I really do. But we had a conversation where you also said that long term, he's not got it. He's not the answer.
So when did I say he's the answer?
Now you're saying that,
No. The question was, Sophie, when did I say Eddie's the answer?
Right now you're saying he's the answer.
When did you hear me say he's the answer?
But the way we're playing right now, you're saying that he's the answer, that Hassel's contributing.
Yeah, but that doesn't say he's the answer. That doesn't say he's better than Jesus, does it?
So right now, he still starts for you because there's no other option.
Eddie starts, definitely.
No fights
Definitely.
tonight. Although this one, Kev is twisting a little on Eddie. I get he wants to support him, but he's not been great, Kev, in the last 3 games. I'm sorry. He's missed some of the worst. The 2 headers were terrible. You would have scored them when you were 3.5 years old.
Sophie, it don't matter. It don't matter. The fact of the matter is, Eddie has contributed, and that's the life of a striker. When you get the chances and you don't take them, it's your fault. That's the life of a striker. We get it. But there's no way you can't tell me Eddie never contributed on Saturday. No chance.
He contributed on Saturday in spurts, but he also missed glaring chances that could have put his team away much sooner.
Sophie. Sorry? Say that again?
He could have buried chances and the game could have been over.
Yeah, but Odegaard could have buried chances as well. Gabriel with the header could have buried chances. Saka could have buried chances.
Yeah, but he's the main striker. Though. He's the main striker. Odegaard's miss was awful. I thought the game was gone after that.
It's football. Yeah.
Okay.
My issue is he missing chances? Yes, but is he contributing? I believe he is contributing with what I see.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If Jesus is fit tomorrow, who starts up front?
Eddie. Jesus, well, if Jesus is fit, he's not ready yet.
I'm asking you a question where he's ready to go and rock and roll. Who starts?
Jesus is going to be the main striker.
But would you pick Jesus or Eddie? I'm asking who you would pick.
Sophie, I just said to you, if Jesus is fit, match fit, and Eddie's match fit, there's only one person going to start. That's Jesus.
Right.
But
okay.
Right now, Eddie is contributing to the team.
He is doing quite well in certain games, but in the last 4 games, he's dipped and he's not hitting the mark.
Saliba's dipped.
Yeah, but Saliba's bounced back in the second half.
Hold on.
Saliba's dipped.
Ben White dipped. There are certain players in the team who have dipped. Zinchenko's dipped. Don't just
he
look
scored
at Eddie.
though.
Yeah, but so what? Don't just look at Eddie. Everybody's dipped. Everybody's dipped in our bump. We've gone through a little bumpy time.
Bumpy time.
It's a bit bumpy time. We've bumped along, and all of a sudden.
Yeah, but the problem is we've all kind of bumped at the same time, and that's never a good time, right?
Yeah, Sophie.
But he's missed, Kev. He's missed.
Sophie, you keep going on about missed chances. Players are going to miss chances.
Well, he's missed a lot. That's all I'm saying. He's dipped.
Yeah. Sophie, they've all dipped. We were near perfect in the first half of the season. And don't forget this, Sophie. Don't forget this. Once Jesus went down, what did we say? The key to Eddie is just keep us in contention. Because he is not Jesus. He's not somebody who's going to put the team on his back and take the team away. He's not that player. So why do we think he's that player when he's not? Has he scored goals? Yes. Has he done well in certain games? Yes.
Because it's just about basic missing sitters, like Taiwo says. That's just it. I'm just talking about his job is to put the goal in the back of the net. Saliba's job is to defend from the back, right? Xhaka's role is to play the way they can. They've all done and they've all dipped and whatever. But when you're missing...
No, it's the same. Sophie, it's the same. Saliba's job is to keep the ball out of his net. Ollie Watkins done him and put it in the net. It happens.
But in a game, right, where you get slim chances, or like we did actually got a lot of chances against Aston Villa, all right, and your defense is actually playing a little bit better, you've got to step up and you've got to bury some of those chances. I know, but we won it despite him, not because of him.
No, but it's despite some of the levels dropping. But that's what you do. Every game isn't going to be fantastic.
Oh, Justin, don't give me headers of hard chances. He should have scored that header. Come on. I think I could have scored that header.
Justin,
come on.
Always remember this, Justin. Nobody's ever missed from their sofa. Ever. Always remember that, Justin.
I've
No,
scored some
from the stand,
beauties.
exactly. From the sofa or from the bar, the pub or whatever. Nobody's ever missed. Ever.
All I'm saying, Kev, imagine if we had an elevated striker, what we would be doing now. I tell you something, Kev, if we had a prolific striker in this team, all right, we are 10 points clear right now. 10 points clear guaranteed if we had a prolific striker
Sophie,
to match
maybe,
Saka's goals and Odegaard's
maybe
goals.
you're right, Soph.
No, you said we needed one in January.
Yeah,
You
but
said
we
we've
don't.
needed one.
So because we need one, but we don't have it. So
No,
what?
but I'm saying if we did,
No, we
hello,
don't.
where would we be?
Sophie, you don't know.
I do know, actually.
No, you don't. Because we don't have one. We could be 10 points clear, but we don't have one.
Are you saying that if we didn't have a Harry Kane in our team, we wouldn't be 10 points clear?
Sophie, I don't know.
I'm telling you, I know.
Because how do you know?
Who knows? In the chat, who knows?
How do you know? How do you know we don't play the first game and get injured? You don't know.
No. That's not. This is my game and my question. Now you're changing my what if game.
That's what you're doing. But that's
no.
We don't have it.
Okay,
so
I'm going to move on.
Talk about it.
Sure, fine. I know. Listen, thank you. How many I knows?
How many likes? Never mind all that. How many likes?
How many likes do we have? Do you want us to stick around or do you want us to leave? All right. Kev, I love you, but you're being stubborn tonight. And then Lone Star says, come on, Soph, you couldn't head a bus queue.
Oh, God. Guys, listen.
Let me get my Brazilian football out. I tell you.
You got to win games. It's about winning games. And you know what? Yeah, as I've said, Eddie's missed chances. People have dipped in form. The key is keep getting the wins.
Oh, God, don't give me the Haaland examples coming in now. Haaland is scoring, but they're beneath us. Sophie, what about Haaland at City? Put him in our team this season. That's my point. Put him in our team this season with the chances we create and the way we're playing. Come on, man.
No, I beg to differ on that one.
It's Pep's fault. It's not Haaland's fault. Pep is a Tinker Tailor Soldier Sailor.
Haaland's game would have to be a lot better than it is to play in our team.
Westbird really hates my hat because it reminds him of Tottenham, I think. I'm going to wear it all the time now. Super Kev, 250 likes. All right.
How many people on?
250.
No, on
500. 500 live, and we've got two. We'll get the final count now. Let's see. Still haven't heard Kev's plan B, Taib said earlier.
I've already gone through my plan B.
Ireland's prime example that I don't dare say whatever. Sure, fine. We have 256 likes. Thank you so much, Barry Byrne. Maybe our chief like officer just went to the loo for a little bit. So, Kev, are you staying for a couple questions?
Well, I'm going to have to now, aren't I?
See, there you go. And it's been so long since we've had him. By the way, I haven't told everyone the horror story. Anyway, I'm not going to tell it, but let's just say Vinny ran away last week and we thought we lost him. Not because he wanted to, not because this isn't a happy home, but because of a dodgy door.
He wanted to come to
He wanted to come to see you, Kev. And by the way, guess what else I found? These are back. I thought I lost them in Cyprus.
I think we're going to need them in the second half.
We're going to need them in a second. Yeah, definitely. All right, here we go. Let's get some questions for Kev. Right. Let's see. Okay. What advice from Mark B? What advice would you give to the team to be more clinical and improve their finishing? I feel they lack composure, says Mark.
Just keep doing what they listen. You do your finishing drills, you do all that anyway. Again, it's not much you could say. You just got to practice makes permanent. People are going to miss chances. That's part and parcel of what footballers do.
Okay. Yeah, see? Some people get me. Osimhen. Imagine him in the team. Right. Next question for Super Kevin Campbell. Kev, from across the pond, Super Kev, do you think we could start KT versus these low block teams? And instead of Xhaka, have O and Z there? What do you think about this? This was one I was going to ask you. The Zinchenko into midfield overtly and then KT left back. Kev, are you pro or against this?
I'm not so sure. I don't know why people think Kieran Tierney is going to make such a difference. Why
Remember when they couldn't wait for him to be benched?
Yeah. Teams play a low block against us a lot of the times. Do you remember the time Kieran Tierney was getting down the wide and crossing it and there's nobody in the box? So Kieran Tierney's game isn't like Zinchenko's. He's not a manipulator of the ball. So it may work against certain teams. Kieran Tierney's he's gonna have a part to play in games moving forward. I think in Europa League especially, but league games, I think the manager prefers Zinchenko there or Tomiyasu at times because they're more comfortable going into that midfield spot and dominating the ball. I think getting players going down the line isn't what's going to win us games. When teams play a low block, I think we have to play quick and work teams out, interchange, and play through them. That's what's going to beat a lot of teams.
Okay, there's tons of questions, you guys. So I'm going to try and fire through as many as I can and make them flow one after the other. Because there's a lot of Kieran Tierney questions. Lynn just asked the same. Would you move Zinny into Xhaka's role, KT? So there's a lot of those going around.
I wouldn't.
And Abayami says, wants to know what you think about KT. But there's one here I'm trying to find. Here it is from Boy. Why do you think, is it as simple as Zinchenko's just so much of a better player, or it's simply the way Arteta wants to play? How do you see that, Kev, when you see two really good players, you're in a team, you're in the dressing room, one just gets picked over the other?
Well, Zinchenko's better for what Mikel Arteta wants to do. It's that simple. The league tells you that. And Kieran Tierney he's played against Brentford and stuff. There's games where he's played, he's done well. But Zinchenko makes a real difference. He's made a difference to Xhaka. He's made a difference to Martinelli. Especially when Jesus plays. Because these four tend to have a real understanding. And he makes a difference to Thomas Partey. Zinchenko does. I think Kieran Tierney can make a difference at times to the wide player, but he doesn't influence the others as much as Zinchenko does. So I just think it's the fit, the correct fit for what Zinchenko does in the way Arsenal play. Kieran Tierney just doesn't have the tools to do it.
Okay, great stuff on that. Let's switch gears a little bit to Saka from Aston Mac. Hey, Aston, how you doing? We hope you're well. Good to see your name pop up as always. Has Saka turned from star boy to star man? Does it seem like he's a bit more bite and fight about him? Is this a good or bad thing, Kev?
Well, it's definitely not bad, Aston. It's a good thing. I like to see the team fight. I like to see the team repel these bad actors, these people who want to kick them. Yeah, you've got to fight fire with fire sometimes. You've got to fight fire with fire sometimes. So, again, it's Saka star boy. He is star man now. Star man. And do you know what we haven't heard? We haven't heard about that contract yet, have we? So we need that.
He's already signed it. I hope he's already signed it.
He hasn't already signed it, or else it'll get announced. We know Martinelli signed his, but there's Saliba and Saka. They're the next two.
Okay, so this goes into a little bit of, let's see. I think you kind of answered this. Did I put this up? Do you think we need to change our tactics for a low block team? A lot of people are asking you to expand on that plan B a little bit, but
low
do you
block
think
teams, you got to play quicker, and you got to play through them. Going down the line against a low block team, we've seen it against Everton. You go down the line, you cross it, all they do is head it out because you're not moving anybody around. What you've got to do, you've got to be able to play quicker.
So why were we unable to do that? I know everyone's saying play faster, but then why haven't we been able to do that, especially through the middle, Kev?
Because it's hard. Because don't you think the opposition know how a team like Arsenal would beat them?
We've seen us kill teams though.
Yeah,
with speed.
But this is it, Sophie. Not everybody's going to allow you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be able to pull them apart. You've got to be able to play quickly through them. When teams sit down in the low block, what happens is when you get your chance, you have to score. We saw it against Newcastle, start against Newcastle. We should have been 2 or 3 goals up. You don't take your chances, it then gets tight.
Yeah, it just seems that
the same.
Yeah,
we had a couple of chances, didn't score, it gets tight.
Right. So does that mean a different setup from the start? I think that's where everyone wants to hear, like, that's the plan B.
No,
but if we can't penetrate, so let me ask you something.
Hold on. Just so the fans understand, that is not a plan B.
But we haven't been able to penetrate the low block in the last 3 games, right?
No, we did. Well, we did on Saturday.
That was a half and half, really, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
Well, did we or didn't we?
But they were they weren't exactly Newcastle or Brentford or Everton, were they? They definitely took more risks.
Did we?
Yes, we won the game. We won the game.
No, that's not what I asked. Did we or did we not beat the low block? Yes, we did. And we created 20
Eventually,
chances.
yeah, we did.
But we created 20 chances,
yes.
though.
Yeah, we did.
So you can't tell me, oh, we half did. No, we did. But the key is you've got to take your chances when they present themselves. Because when you take your chances, they then have to open up.
So we lost to Everton because we didn't take our chances. We just were rancid that day. We were terrible. We didn't even really create chances.
Eddie had a chance and Saka had a chance.
Oh, look, Eddie's come up again having a chance.
You score one of them, Everton have to open up. That's the difference. When these teams get a goal, oh my God, it's murder trying to get them out of that block.
Do you agree?
Because they could just sit there.
So would you make changes quicker then, like as opposed to what we didn't do? Like everyone kept saying who should, Xhaka is one name that keeps coming up, Kev, that maybe if you're playing that type of game against that type of team, then Xhaka kind of hinders you further, bring him off earlier perhaps.
But it doesn't, because we saw Brentford do it. And against Brentford, Xhaka put a perfect ball in for Jesus. It hasn't been a problem in the first half of the season. Second half of the season, we're starting to see a little bit more. It's starting to get a bit tight, but we were always going to have a bumpy period. It goes on every season with every team.
Yeah, I hate this buzzword.
This one, that one. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? No. The system we play is the system we play. The system we play is the reason why we are top of the league. Within that system, there is a plan B solely because we have different players who can come in and do different things within the system.
Yeah. And I hear everything you're saying. It just seems to me that one of the things we've done well all season, whether we're playing a defensive team, by the way, and whoever said it, was it across the pond? All these buzzwords, low block, high press. I mean, it's the same football, really. Come in, just so you, the pivot, the double pivot. Pivot, pivot, pivot. Do you remember that episode of Friends where Ross gets his couch delivered? Pivot. Yeah, it gets on my nerves, Kev. We've always played well in units all season. Each facet of the game, no matter who we've been playing in, there's fluidity on the flanks, there's control through the middle. One of the things in the questions coming up probably 22 times, and I'll just encapsulate it for everybody in one, is from M. Muzz. How do we improve the defense? What's happened defensively, Kev? You mentioned Saliba. I feel like they bounced back in the second half yesterday a little bit. Tomiyasu had an absolute horror show. Zinchenko's been awful at defending. but defends from the center sometimes, so it works. But he gives the ball away. Gave the ball away for the first Aston Villa goal. So cheap. Saliba then, of course, didn't get on the man
Didn't
quick
get tight
enough,
enough. Yeah, didn't get
right?
tight enough.
So what do you think's happened, Kev?
Already said, levels have dropped. The level that these guys were playing at, first half of the season especially, Soph was incredible. And let's be fair, this is the first time they've all played together. It's the first time.
Did
So
we
the
exceed
level-
expectations too soon, Kev?
Well,
Did
of
we
course.
hit?
No, not exceed expectation, but we hit a level that everyone was like, whoa, incredible. But you're going to get your dips. You're going to get Saliba's his first season in the Premier League. He's been incredible. But there's going to be times where he gets questioned because this is the most unforgiving league in the world. This isn't Ligue 1. Every team can hurt you. Every team offers something different. Every team, you're going to have to defend properly. I think that our most consistent defender has been Gabriel. But Gabriel early season, do you remember? We need another left centre half. He's not good enough. He's this, he's that. Gabriel's been our most consistent defender. So there are levels to this. And the key to what the defence needs to do, they just need to consolidate themselves and keep going. Go for it. You got to make a clean sheet is your hat trick. So they've got to get a clean sheet. You've got to get a clean sheet. Go for clean sheets. You get a clean sheet, our job's done, boys. But the way Arsenal play is front foot football. So there are times where you could get exposed.
Rocking it this Monday. Hit those likes. I think we've hit 300, Kev, just for you. We didn't even have to bring this out tonight.
Take off the bed, Sophie. Take it off.
Maybe for the plan B. And then here we go. One more time, Vinny. Everyone wanted to
Go on, Vinny.
Of course. Kev, I've noticed something and I wanted to ask, and I'm surprised nobody has. Only one person did, and they put it up in the chat a second ago, and I put it up, and probably all of you missed it. Talk to me about our short corners. What's going on there?
Variation.
Now, this is a plan B.
Yeah,
Ta-da!
but variation. You've got to vary the things you do, because what do teams do? Teams scout you. They know what your corner routines are. So they set teams up to block you where you're going to go. This is what Arsenal are going to do. So we set them up. All of a sudden now, we've got variation. And variation, just like I'm saying, different people doing different things. All of a sudden, as you said, is it a plan B or is it just having variation? I suppose it's a bit of both. So, bit of variation. So teams have to adjust. Teams now have to adjust. And we get a goal. Zinchenko's first goal in the Premier League for Arsenal.
We got close.
We get a goal from it.
We got close a couple of times. And at first I was plan B equals variation. I know, I love it. It's like a t-shirt coming. It's so good, Kev. He's not entertaining me at all. Not at all.
Who's not?
You're not entertaining me at all. Mark B put down plan B.
Yeah, no, I saw that, but I'm saying whether it's you call it a plan B, or you call it
you say
variation,
potato, I say potato.
Yeah, whatever. The thing is, having people in the team do different things that the opposition do not expect. That's what a plan B is. Not just because what everybody seems to think, oh, we need a big striker, or we need this, or we need that. No, that ain't necessary. You know,
that's
a
obvious.
variation of, sorry?
That's obvious, isn't it? To just say, I'll bring on a bring on Weghorst.
Yeah. So, but within the system that you play, that's why Emil Smith Rowe, I want him fit and I want him back, because he offers a variation to what we have. Because what does he do? He picks the ball up and runs with it. So, as soon as he picked the ball up and run with it, defenders are on notice. Because if they keep backing off, he'll go through and score. He's proven he can do that.
Yes. Yes.
So
Listen, please don't say FAMs, all right? That's not allowed on this show. And variation as a set piece is not a plan. It is if your set pieces are shit and they're not working and you've got to go to a plan B. Because we can't clear the first defender when we play a long corner.
no,
And I
no,
tell you something, I would
so what
find
is it then?
players. I would find players.
Sophie. So what is it then? If it
I
ain't a
think
plan B,
I
if it
think it's a
ain't a plan B,
no, I said it's a no, he said it's not. I'm saying
that's
it
what
is.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, so if it's not a plan B, what is it then?
It's a variation.
Which is a plan B. Okay. These people, just for the sake of it,
Listen, let me tell you, you
challenges.
don't get it anywhere else. You just get it here on the Highbury Squad. All right. I'm going to do a couple more and then I'm going to give some stuff away real quick. Let's see. Set pieces. We were so good on set pieces before New York had dipped after the World Cup. Yeah, here's your corners. I think we're doing quite well. Kev, this is from Jaffa. Is there going to be more pressure on us or City now that Man United are tailing red hot? I think there's pressure on everyone.
Listen, everyone's under pressure. We're in a top. Listen, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Arsenal fans, you moaned previously. You want a team that's going to be challenging. Now you got one. Welcome to the pressure zone.
This is a good one to end on the questions, Kev. What, if anything, would you change with what Arteta is doing so far? Do you think he could do things better? Better had a bitty butter better.
Well, top of the league. There ain't much you could do, is there? There ain't much.
Well, you could win. You could win the whole thing.
No, well, we're not there yet. We're talking about from now. So no.
Yeah, I agree with Aston's subs. I think he's still mastering the art of game management.
But here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing that fans talk about subs. The same subs that come on in one game make a difference. Those same subs come on in another game and don't. So what's the difference, so?
Well, the difference is that I think Arteta personally, right, is doing this. I think in the last couple games, we're seeing him. He's taken big risks, right? Against Manchester United at Old Trafford, learned a huge lesson from that. How many players did he bring on? And he disrupted the side very quickly, and they all went Pete Tong at Old Trafford, right? He learned from that.
Listen.
He learned from that.
Let's be honest. That wasn't our problem at Old Trafford. We know what our problem is.
Well, of course, new information has come to light where we were robbed.
Oh, Sophie. By the way,
au revoir.
Maximum damage, he runs off
into the sunset with, I'm sure, a nice pay packet. And some people are feeling sorry for him and that Arsenal fans destroyed a man's livelihood. Okay, so let me say this.
Go on, say it, Sophie. I know where you're going.
Just because Arsenal players may earn a lot of money a week, or Arsenal Football Club are, a very successful business. How about their livelihood and what you may have robbed them of experiencing maybe once in their lifetime in their career? Maybe, maybe not. But there's a possibility and a probability out there that it could happen. Sophie, and you screwed it up.
Let us lose the league by 1 point.
And this is what people don't take into account. It's just because the players are like these wealthy professionals and they're on these big contracts and they've big houses, big cars, whatever. They're humans. They have feelings. They work. This is their job. This is what they do.
Let us lose the league by 1 point.
I mean, once, twice, and people feel sorry
for him. Us twice. He got away with the Old Trafford one, but this Brentford one, no.
And I'm sorry, but even opposing fans agree with us that there needs to be more punishment like this. So
he's already done the damage, Soph. That's the problem.
I know. I've heard this one quite a few times, but it never gets old. He's taken more points off us than any team this season.
You're not wrong.
Everyone hates us, but we love us. And that's the beautiful thing about it, don't we, Kev?
That's it. It's us against the world, squaddies. Big time. And you can listen, you wait. You wait. By the way, Arsenal v Everton is our extra game, isn't it?
Going to be a battering for them, isn't it, Kev?
Well, I'm pit side for the game.
Oh God, I keep forgetting Sean Dyche is their manager now.
I'm pit side for the game. As Everton don't travel well.
Kev, are you doing well? We usually we do well against them at home.
Yeah, at home. Everton
Yeah.
don't travel well. They're one of the worst teams in the league away from home, aren't they?
Yeah, it's payback. Who are you doing the game for?
Premier League TV.
Nice. Very nice.
And then on Sky for Dickie Bob Thursday.
Very nice. Very
nice.
It's
going to be a good one. But
excellent.
Again, like you said, Soph, if we had a striker, we could have been there. Could have, should have, would have. But you know what? We still got the opportunity, Soph, to stretch our lead.
Definitely.
We're going to have the opportunity to stretch our lead. And then, if you win that, you win your spare game. Listen, we've got a tough game against Leicester at the weekend. Tough. Because, don't know if anybody saw the Man United-Leicester game yesterday. 3-0 to Manchester United. Leicester could have been 3-0 up. Leicester could have been 3-0 up.
I mean, see, they didn't finish their chances.
Exactly. So,
I mean, how many times do I have to say it live on this show? All right. Listen, don't go anywhere. 510 of you in live chat. They all want us to stay forever and ever and ever. They're asking for a parade. We'll get a Highbury Squad bus. I'll tell you something. I actually have a friend who has a double-decker bus. I'm not joking. So epic. I will brand that Highbury Squad and I will drive around North London the day of the parade. We'll do a alternative parade. I tell ya. Be wicked. Get DJ Tony Perry playing for us at the top. Get Demian on the old percussion. Hey? How about that? Freaking yes. All right. Listen. So Super Kev's on the telly this week for Premier League TV and for Sky.
That's next
Wednesday.
Next
week.
Next
Okay,
Wednesday,
next Wednesday.
Thursday.
You can catch my Sky Sports News Paper Talk episode. It's uploaded on the homepage on videos right now. Even though the City games pass, I want you to listen to it and let me know what you think. Because, you know, there's some interesting comments that were made by also Sam Lewis from The Athletic that I think you'll find interesting as well. I will drive the bus. It will be like the Cliff Richard film, Summer Holiday, Kev. Do you remember that movie? I love that film.
Yeah, I
love it a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get Kev's closing thoughts, it is, we didn't do anything for Valentine's Day, but as you guys know, it's been a while and we want to give away a couple of coins, all right? And here it is. It's the beautiful thing that just keeps on giving. Wait until you see the next iteration. Oh my God, the things that Zenith coins are doing, forget about it, especially pertaining to our beautiful, beloved Arsenal Football Club. Wait until you see what they have in store. You guys are going to get a first exclusive, let me tell you that. And it's really special stuff. We can't tell you what it is. So we're going to give away another Highbury Squad coin right here. It's the beauty that is. And I would like to give it away. Sometimes there's a lot of people in live chat, but we also have an incredible YouTube community that makes some incredible comments and, you know, just are there and supportive and send messages to me and Kev all the time. And I have a listener. We have a listener from down under. He's known as Georgie George on YouTube, but his real name is Emmanuel. He lives in Brisbane in Australia. He's a granddad with 4 kids, 4 grandkids, 5 kids. Vinny and Vespa are excited about it. They're going nuts. So well done to Georgie George, our #1 premier YouTube commenter on receiving your Highbury Squad coin. Kev, say something so I can tell Vinny to shut up.
Well, Georgie George, well done. Congratulations. And thanks for joining in and watching the Highbury Squad. We love it, obviously. But we appreciate you. I hope you and your family are well. And you keep joining us because there's still plenty of football to be played.
Love it. Brilliant stuff. Thank you to all of our listeners who listen on replay. Do not think that we don't see your comments. As you know, I respond to pretty much every single one of them and I share them with Kev. We're going to do a YouTube comment show as soon as we are able and we have time to do it. Kev, should we give another one away?
Why not?
Do you want to give a spontaneous one away to someone in chat, or do you?
No.
All right.
You're giving them away today. You give it.
Okay. I am going to give one away to someone in chat. And you know what, Suraj? You deserve a coin. You are a very special young man. You are always on the show. You are a great backup to Tammy Steels, our chief like officer. You have sent myself and Kevin some of the most lovely messages, always super supportive. Get involved in the YouTube comments as well. And you absolutely deserve a coin. And well done, Suraj. Thank you so much for all your support. You've been there from day one, and we really appreciate you. Thank you.
Well done, Suraj. Well done.
Suraj. Kev, what would you like to leave the Squaddy Nation with today?
Well, as this is the end, Squaddies, it's been beautiful being on Monday Madness with you for an hour, 21 minutes, etc. Listen, I'm going to tell you all this. Make sure you love yourself and make sure you love the people close to you. I'm not going to say this again. It's important. Do you know why? Because we're the Arsenal. We wanted a team that could challenge. Even the dogs say it. We've got a team that could challenge. Let's not nitpick too much. Let's back them. Let's get behind them and get behind the club. And let's see if we can win this thing, man. Let's win it. So as I say this, I'd like to thank Sophie and you, Squaddies, for making this show the most special show of all. We thank you, and we hope you have a wonderful day, night, afternoon, whatever it is. Enjoy yourself. Take good care. We love you. And as always, Squaddies, at ease, Squaddies. At ease.
Vinny says sorry.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.